Liminal spaces. These are defined as places of transition, places that are between destinations. These are spaces that you are never intended to think about, places that aren't made for you to linger in for very long. This video is partially about liminal spaces. Now, you may be wondering how I could possibly link the idea of liminal spaces to Five Nights at Freddy's, but just hear me out on this one. This massive building is none other than Freddy Fazbear's Mega Pizzaplex. At its core, though, it's nothing more than a Fazbear Entertainment branded mall. If you know anything about liminal spaces, you may know that a large number of these images are taken in malls, either after hours or abandoned. Anyways, do you see the connection I'm making now? A mall as large as this one means lots and lots of weird liminal spaces within, and, other weird things. So sit back, grab a snack, maybe something to drink, and let's explore the oddities contained within Five Nights at Freddy's largest location. This video has had a bit of an identity crisis over the past few months. I've had the idea for like liminal spaces or just weird oddities in the Pizzaplex for a while now, but after my video on the topic of redesigning FNAF locations came out, I've had so many, like an unbelievable amount of requests for a Pizzaplex remake concept. The video you're watching now is kind of like a part one of redesigning this insanely sized building. Today, I will be exploring every weird and strange decision that went into creating this environment and exploring the whole building in great detail. In part 2, coming out towards the end of this month, I will propose my ideas for fixing and transforming these areas into something better. With all that being said, let's begin our stay at the Pizzaplex by entering the main lobby. Beautiful and stunning, isn't it? The lobby is where most people begin their journey in the Mega Mall. Head right from the doors and you get a complimentary entry pass. Head left though, and well, there's nothing. This is the very definition of a liminal space. I mean, you're not really meant to stay out here anyways. This is just the entrance to the actual mall. Still, this space stands out to me as just strange. It feels so empty because everything out here is on the right side of the lobby. The exit gates, the parking garages, the entry pass gift. There's even a staff bot mopping over there. The only thing here is a staff only door, which makes it even stranger that these two benches are directly next to it. What guest is walking all the way over here just to sit down? The next one is not really liminal, but it is an interesting detail. The amount of trees outside the Pizzaplex is strange, considering that this building is in Hurricane, Utah. We know this because it's built over the FNAF 6 location, which has lawsuits that are in this area of Utah. I don't know if this is actually important, probably just an oversight by Steel Wool and Scott. In the Help Wanted teaser, it was heavily snowing at the build site, so maybe it doesn't even mean anything at all. Moving deeper into the lobby, this whole locker room customer service area is a bit strange to me. But I suppose it's kind of like in theme parks before you get on a ride, they have like lockers for you to store your stuff in. The fun thing here are these 3 stickers. They're the only 3 here and gives this space just a bit more like oddity to it. Also, this whole cage thing for the strollers is really funny. Just wanted to say that. It's not really liminal or anything, but it is a weird area in the Pizzaplex. Another small thing that you'll never unsee are these ATMs. There's 4 here, but only 3 on this side. Sorry for pointing that out, but if I have to see it, then so do you. The last spot I want to point out in the lobby is right here, in the middle of the left stairway. Everything about this screams that it was simply made to have a hiding spot here. How did these strollers even get here in the first place? That combined with the weird plants like embedded in the floor behind this glass barrier make this spot a great example for a liminal space. You're not supposed to ever look at it this closely. It kind of makes me feel a little uneasy looking at it. The other side also has this problem, but it's different. It looks a little bit less weird to me, and I can't explain why. With the lobby now done, let's head to the Superstar Daycare and check in on Sun and Moon. Starting just outside, Let's look at the dancing fountain. It is cool but it makes no sense being here. That combined with these random bathrooms make this room an almost perfect liminal space. Look at it. There's nothing here. It's kind of uneasy, which I don't think it was trying to be, but it is. The only other detail in the entire daycare that really stands out to me is this. Found directly behind the theater screen, this little strip of carpet has always stuck out to me. You've most likely never seen it or even noticed it. As in normal gameplay, you're either rushing down here after being lost for 20 minutes, or running away from the endos and never looking back. If you played the game at launch, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Mazer size is like the worst mission ever in this game. I don't understand why you have to come down here. Anyways, you can't get up here. It's blocked off by barriers and I think invisible walls because I tried to get up here. Why not just make the stairs flush with the wall? We'll never know. Real quick, if you're enjoying the video, be sure to like it and consider subbing to the channel. It helps me out a ton. Anyways, on to our next area, Monty's Gator Golf. The main thing here to me is the stage and the catwalks, but let's talk about the stage first. There is no way for Monty or anyone else to realistically get on the stage. It's also just kind of in a weird spot in general. I mean, the DLC Ruin shows that Monty was probably never actually performing here, instead just like the hologram thing, but still. Did you know there's a little boat that it looks like customers were at some point able to ride in? This body of water is so small and it seems impossible to get under this bridge while actually riding it. Maybe it was just meant for show, but then why even include a way to get onto the boat in the first place? Okay, catwalks time. What is the purpose of these catwalks? For starters, there is no way for anyone to safely get up here. I think this area was made fully just as a boss fight thing and nothing else. Like it feels out of world. It feels like it's not supposed to be there. It feels like it was made just because Steelwool didn't want to code a whole ride for it. That would have been sick, by the way. Imagine Monty's fight, but you're on the ride shooting at him and the targets or something like that to fill the bucket. This is a perfect liminal space. Other than that, Monty Golf is actually pretty well designed. One of my favorite areas of the whole mall. He's also one of my favorite characters, so maybe that's part of it. Moving on to Freddy's attraction, let's talk about Fazerblast. This laser tag game is really awesome, but the area itself has some weird quirkiness to it. Before even entering the elevator, there's this spaceship ride in the Atrium area. Look at how unsafe this is. Clearly we are not supposed to look at this, but how could you not? This gap is massive. Anyways, the actual Fazerblast lobby has a good example of a liminal space. This corner feels very unfinished to me. The trophies on display, along with the big TV that probably only ever has that same ad on it, and the general nothingness make it a weird spot. Have you ever thought about the winner's room area in Fazerblast? How long are you actually allowed to stay here? There's not much in that room, and there's not much room in general, so I can't imagine you could stay there for that long. Also, the big floor vent that's connected to it for literally no reason. I mean, I get that this is just to let us see Vanny's hideout, but it's just, they could have done it better. You know what I mean? There's stairways. I bet you've never seen this stairway, by the way. If you lose Fazerblast, you have a different way to get back up. That's not the winner's elevator. And I've never seen this staircase until I started making this video. Anyways, this room just feels off to me in some way. A prime example here of today's topic is these spaces. Hidden behind the neon walls are these strange alcoves of nothing. You're never supposed to see these, but they are visible in-game from certain spots. Now, let's do a bit of a quickfire round. This hallway in the utility tunnels. This room in parts and services that reminds me a lot of a parking garage. The fully empty rooms in Mazer size near the controls. The kitchen in El Chips has oil barrels in it. And to end off this quick list, I have to mention this specific corner in the West Arcade. I have nothing to actually say about these places. just that they kind of make me feel weird. Moving on, let's cover the biggest area in the game, I think, the Atrium. This is the Atrium, the single largest area, I believe, in the game. And it's got loads of empty and weird spaces contained within. Starting by the food court, this corner over here always felt off to me. Like a lot of the other spaces we've discussed so far, it's so empty. They surely would have tables here in real life, right? A place like this would be packed to the max with people. The side opposite of this one does have some seats for people to eat at, so the lack of them here is confusing and makes the space feel super out of place and unfinished. It doesn't stop there though. The atrium is full of these spaces. Take this one for example. These trees just feel wildly out of place and they kind of make me uncomfy. They would 100% have some actual seating here with tables and all. It would be a perfect place to put them, in my opinion. Right next to the stage where everyone can see it, they could probably charge a pretty penny for these seats. It would be just, again, the perfect place. This setup with the trees is mimicked on the other side, so at least it's symmetrical, I guess. Side note, not a liminal space, but the logo in the center of the atrium is off-center. So is the one in the elevators. You're welcome. Going upstairs in the atrium, we have this corner. Again, with these trees, they like to use them all over the place in the Pizzaplex. The top floor actually solved the emptiness issue by having arcade machines between the different locations up there. Here though, 2 photo booths, and that's it. There's not even any posters or anything on the wall. It's so bland, and a place like this just wouldn't look like this in real life. You know these walls would be fully decorated with posters, ads, and maybe even kids' drawings. It would really be like fully themed out in Fazbear style stuff. It really takes me out of the world when I actually take a minute to think about this kind of stuff. The top floor may fill out all the space, and it may do that better than the lower ones, but that doesn't mean that the way they filled the space is illogical. One of the most known and talked about locations for this video is this tiny play area all the way up here. Something should definitely be here, but why this? It's wildly out of place and also just doesn't make any sense up here. All the little kid play areas are down on the lower levels, which I think is where most of them should be. This is clearly targeted towards very young kids, and getting them up here just to play at this tiny play area when the whole daycare exists just makes no sense. This is one that everybody knows about, but what about the other side? On the other side of the top level, mostly mirroring the play area that we talked about, is where Mazercise is. Some food stands are out here, the equipment they use, it all seems fine, it all mostly makes sense. But then look closer, there's this shape right here, this triangle kind of curved shape here. How did this happen? This side is not anywhere close to the shape of the other side. Why not just make it even? That would make significantly more sense than whatever this weird corner is. Also, this Fizzy Faz poster. There is a single Fizzy Faz poster on the wall here, like hanging off the side. Who added this? What is the point of this? It doesn't make sense. If they were going to put the posters there, they should have at least put up all the Fizzy Faz posters there, but it doesn't make any sense. Nobody ever sees this in game because there's literally no reason to go back here during gameplay. But why was it ever included? This game is kind of a mess. I know that's obvious, but when people say this game is unfinished, these little details are not really what they're talking about. I've genuinely never seen anyone ever find this spot in many playthroughs of this game that I've seen. Another area with a space like this is Bonnie Bowl. The entire entrance hallway that leads to the bowling alley or the arcade has nothing in it. Well, not nothing, but they could have done a lot more here. When I make the second part of this, I'll cover what I would do to fix a lot of these locations, as well as some more that I didn't mention in this video. You may notice that I haven't really talked about that many staff only areas, and that's because I'm kind of more focused on the public facing areas of the Pizzaplex because that's what's the most interesting to me. Staff only areas sometimes always really don't make that much sense, and that's just how they are, but I want to focus on what the public actually sees. Another place I want to talk about is Roxy Raceway and the Salon. There's a door up here that you can't get into in game. Why is it here? Probably cut content like all the other locked doors in the building. Still, just a weird place. Why not cut the door out entirely if you're going to cut the content? Next is the far side of the raceway. This was clearly intended to be like a fully explorable area with flashlight charge stations and everything. There's even a fully modeled set of bathrooms up here. There's a bunch of cut areas in this game, but this one is still here and pretty much fully ready to go. Another thing in the raceway is this. You would never be able to see this spot in game, but it's just weird to see the floor textured in a way that implies you could get up here at some point. The railing also backs this up. There's also just some like deep pits that seem highly unsafe, even with the railings. Surely there was a better way to theme out the raceway, no? Did they really have to do this? Fazbear Entertainment is so irresponsible. Anyways, on to our next area. Chica's Bakery is likely the area on this list that you've heard talked about the most. There's good reason for this. It's a huge area that, besides a message bag and the hoodie upgrade, goes completely unused. You are never ever directed to go here in game. So the fact that there's actually a ton of detail put into this is kind of a shame. You go here in Ruin, and I bet a lot of people actually thought that this was a completely new location for that game, but it's not. The same can't be said for the hallway that connects the bakery to the Atrium though. This is by far the weirdest area in the game. Look at it, it's so empty and barren and massive for no reason. The most notable thing to mention though is this little stand. I don't know what this is possibly for or why it's here. They were on something else when they added this path. Not to mention that you're supposed to get to the bakery by this big roll-up door in the Atrium, but it is yet another route that got cut out of the final game. There's so many tiny details I want to point out here, but I also want to finish this video at some point. So here's a quick look at the hall. There's only two more locations I want to talk about in this video, starting with the East Arcade. What could they possibly be selling at this food stand? L Chips is right there. Like, no one is buying from this thing, whatever they're making. Also, this ball pit that's just in the middle of the arcade, it's the only one here. Also, this crazy light tunnel that connects to the prize corner. It's very cool, but it's also just crazy. Like, again, why is it here? They could have done this in a better way, I think. But I just wanted to mention that. Anyways, the final area for this video will be none other than Rockstar Row. So who exactly is performing on this stage? It's in such a weird spot in an otherwise empty hallway, so I don't see any point to it. Regardless, it is definitely a liminal and weird feeling space. Another thing is this couch. I just think it's really funny because it is the only one here that's in a little like indent in the wall. I mean, imagine sitting on this side right up against a giant Chica ad. There's also curtains, which is such a random inclusion for a random couch in a random hallway that not a lot of people would realistically be sitting at. One more thing are the cardboard cutouts over here in Rockstar Row. Now, this is not a lore video, but these cutouts are just weird. Why are they here? Why, like, Shadow Bonnie specifically? Why is he here? Doesn't make any amount of sense. Anyways, I think that's about it for all the locations I want to cover today. During gameplay, you would never ever stop to discover spaces like this. It's just not really a thing that you would have time to do during the game. I don't think that necessarily makes the Pizzaplex a poorly designed location. It's actually quite a wonderful setting for a FNAF game, and I think they did amazing with it. I just think that maybe they overdid it with the scale of the building and couldn't figure out how to fill the whole space out. I did not include everything here, and that's for a couple of reasons. One is that this video would end up being way too long. I mean, maybe you all wouldn't mind a super long video, but I do because I don't want to take a month to post a single video. The second reason is that there will be a part 2 of sorts to this one. In that next video, which will come out later this month, I will cover more spots as well as adding some things to the Pizzaplex that I think would work really well in universe. At the very tail end of this video, I just want to give a genuine thank you to all you wonderful people that come to my channel and watch these videos. Whether you're subscribed or not, I truly appreciate each and every one of you for supporting the channel. I am beyond passionate about this series and I love making these videos for the community. And I'm so happy that you guys have given me the opportunity to do this because I love doing this. This is the best thing I've ever done in my life. I love doing this and I want to continue doing this for you guys like for a long time. Anyways, that's another video down. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you all next time for an overhaul of Freddy Fazbear's Mega Pizzaplex. Goodbye, superstars.